All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Peaked Middle School. I'm Narwhal.
I'm Kyle.
And this is today's special guest. This is Steve, my dad.
Hi, guys.
Kyle and I have wanted to have my dad on the podcast for a while, and he just finished building us the studio, so I figured it'd be the perfect time to have him on.
The time has finally come.
Yeah. I call my dad Steve a lot because in basketball growing up, if we would say dad, he just wouldn't respond. I think it's because your hearing is good. It's not as good as it used to be.
No, I just ignored you.
So, like, at basketball practice, we'd be like, hey, like, dad. And he would just assume that it was other kids talking to other dads. And then we'd be like, Steve. And he'd be like, what? So, yeah. But Kyle and I have been hyping up this episode because Steve is definitely one of the most interesting people in the world.
Dos Equis.
Yeah,
kind of.
You actually should
like
be
him
the guy. What?
He kind of looks like him. Well, without
Better looking.
without the
better
facial
looking.
hair.
Better
Exactly.
So, anyways, we don't really have any plan in particular. We just have some questions because my dad has some crazy stories. And so I guess we'll just jump right in, you know?
Well, okay. First of all, I'll start off.
Okay.
Today's my 21st birthday.
Okay.
So, Steve, I was wondering, what did you do on your Do you remember your 21st birthday? As in, like, I'm not saying, like, oh, you're so old. Do you remember that?
No,
saying,
I
like,
am that old, but no, I don't remember. I don't think I did anything
You don't
special.
think you went out and got hammered or anything?
No, I wasn't into that.
like,
Yeah, you didn't really drink, did you?
No.
Ever?
Well, I mean, I drank,
Well, I mean,
but never.
Once
You
he
were
had
never,
Johnny,
like, a
did.
partier.
Not like you and Kyle.
We're not partiers.
Not that we're partiers.
No,
But
I'm just kidding.
so what do you like? Do you think you went out to the bars or something?
No,
or
I don't
you
think
you
so. I
just
think
literally
sat
hung
at
out.
home.
Well, it's around
Built a shed.
Christmas, first off, so it's December 30th. So typically people maybe did something on New Year's Eve, and they kind of celebrated my birthday and
Like together.
So you waited an extra day to
Yeah.
get really
And
drunk.
then you got really drunk.
Well, at the time I was working for Denny's, so I'm sure I did something. I was in management with Denny's at 21, so I probably did something like Christmas party or New Year's Eve party with the Denny's crowd.
Yeah.
Don't you have some good Denny's stories?
Oh
yeah, I got some Denny's stories. Yeah.
Wait, so were you were already a manager of Denny's when you were 21? You were like
Yeah, I was actually
High
assistant
roller.
manager.
Assistant
to the
regional manager.
Assistant to the
No,
regional manager.
That's from The Office. Yeah. Do you have any? You have some pretty crazy Denny's stories, right? Do you want to? Could you tell the story of the streakers?
Yeah, that.
Oh, or the midget.
You can't say that anymore.
Yeah.
The short
It's
person.
little person or dwarf.
What's the little person story?
Well, I shouldn't say his name, right?
No,
you don't have to say his
okay,
name.
so then, well, no, he was the manager of Denny's, that I was his assistant.
Okay. Who,
And-
the short guy, the little guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Little man.
And he actually got pretty high up in Denny's. He kept, I moved out of the area with Denny's, and he stayed, and I think he got promoted and maybe to like a district manager, which was kind of the next level up. But,
Yeah.
But he was so short. He was a really nice guy, but he's so little that the restaurant doors to get back of the house where the cooks and dishwashers worked, they had windows in, but you couldn't see him because he was too short. So people, if he was trying to walk in the door and someone was coming out, it would
run into him.
run into him. And I know of one time where he got knocked to the ground, and he actually couldn't. They can't get up off the ground.
wait. Little people can't get up off the ground.
Well, not
It's
like
just
what
harder
you think.
for them because their arms are.
Yeah,
like,
and if he's on his
short.
back, he has to kind of roll over. So he was kind of has to like get
It's like
some
a turtle on
momentum
his back.
Yeah. He has to kind of turn over. So it's kind of funny to see him, and maybe he even laughed at himself. I mean, he was a pretty nice guy that way.
Yeah.
I don't think if people laughed at him, I don't think.
Like he wouldn't get mad.
No, I don't think
Okay.
so.
Well, I thought someone got in a fight. There was some fight with a little person.
No, not. with
I
him.
swear you told me that there was a little person came in and then a big biker gang.
Oh,
came
well,
in.
that's he was a customer. He wasn't.
that's a
man-
different little
yeah,
person.
that's a
Different
different
person.
guy,
All right,
yeah.
let's hear that
But he
story.
wasn't a dwarf or a midget or anything
Oh,
like
he's
that.
just like
He
a
was
little
just
guy.
a
Just a
little
short guy.
Yeah, and he
Oh.
was that guy. He had again. I was assistant manager, and people knew who he was because he was a troublemaker.
Okay.
So,
Little troublemaker.
so we were always on edge if he ever was in the restaurant. This was And it usually came in at 2:00. That's what Denny's gets very busy at 2:00 when the bars close.
In the morning, 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
2:00 a.m.
Dang.
And I mean, like packed out.
Yeah.
And they, I don't know if he had been in before, but everybody knew who he was, the waitresses, because I was fairly new to that Denny's.
Yeah.
And he, when he came in, people said, this guy's a troublemaker.
Okay.
So he was in that night, him and another guy. They sat at a little two-top table, booth,
Little
actually.
table for a little guy.
Yeah. But across the aisle from them was two couples that looked like they were like double dating, and these guys were like lumberjack types with, they had like plaid jackets and suspenders and beards. And at the time, beards wasn't really popular deal.
Okay.
But
so they were intimidating guys.
to me, they would have been, but the little guy. So anyway, for some reason, when the waitress brought the food to this one guy that was a troublemaker, he just took his plate of food from the waitress and just dropped it on the floor. Didn't eat it. Didn't try
just
to.
because it was. Did she mess up the order or something?
Well, I don't know exactly because I don't think we ever figured out why that. But she started crying, and I mean, I think he had given her a bad time during the whole ordering process, and But this couple, this two double date guys, were watching this whole thing. So maybe there was other stuff going on before. But the straw that broke the camel's back was when they brought the food out and he just dropped it on the floor, and then she cried. I was in the back helping to cook, so I had to come out and say, "Look, get out." And I had already. Well, I don't think I'd called the cops, but I was ready to call the cops because I didn't know what was going to come. But so I just wanted them out of the restaurant. So these people, these two couples, they actually were leaving kind of simultaneously as all that was happening.
So they were leaving as you were kicking the little guy out.
Yes.
So they're all heading out at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. And now I think the two lumberjack, I call them lumberjack, but those two guys, I think, speeded up their exit so they could get the guy outside.
So
they
wanted
to get him.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably deserved it.
Yeah. Oh, I was
glad
I was kind of anxious to see that little guy get his kind of beat all the kind of a pulp or whatever was going to happen. I just knew it was going to be bad for that little guy. So I think that two couples, they got outside, they rushed to pay, and then, I'm trying to get the other guy out. I didn't even want him to pay or nothing, so he finally just left, maybe shouting profanity or something like that out. And we had the Denny's that we were at had two doors, had a little vestibule area, so you go through one door, close behind, and another door to go outside. So those two lumberjack guys were waiting for him. And I thought, great. Anyway, the little guy, when he got through the second door, he just went berserk. He just ran, just tackled the first guy and just beat him to the pulp. He just
crap
beat
out
him.
of the big guys?
Yeah, it's like he was like just pounding him.
Just went like psycho.
It's like psycho.
Jeez.
And like, I'm saying, no, I'm thinking to myself, this bunch of shit. But anyway, and then the other guy didn't even try anything because the guy was so berserko. So they didn't even gang up on him. No backup. Yeah, the backup.
Dang, he just left him.
That's a poor plan.
Get beat up.
Yeah, and then the cops, sirens were coming, and then the little guy got up and kind of had a getaway car or something like that. I mean, the guy, whoever he was with, maybe was in the car.
Yeah.
And he just ran to the car and drove away, and the guy was all bloody and.
Dang.
And
Don't mess
I mean,
with
he
the
was.
little guy.
I think I'm not kidding. I am 6'2" at the time. I'm shorter now, but.
I'm sure you were.
But this guy, these two lumberjack guys, might have been like 6'2", but 240, something like that.
Geez.
I mean, they were big.
How
guys.
little you think the guy was? Like really
Like
little?
150?
Like 5'4"?
No,
like
no,
Kevin Hart.
no,
Little?
probably 5'10".
Hey, that's not small.
Oh, that's
That's my size. That's average height.
It's like little.
What do you weigh, Kyle?
160.
Kyle is.
What?
160.
Yeah, so he was like your size. So you could be like an animal if you really.
That's what I was saying the
don't
other
fight
day.
me. Don't fight me because I'm an animal.
And then don't you have another? Didn't people streak inside your Denny's?
Yeah, during that time there was a big phase with streaking, and my Denny's, the one I was at.
Where was this Denny's? I'm curious.
Well, during the one with the fight was in Linwood. The streaking was actually in Lakewood and Tacoma. I ran the one in Tacoma.
It's a little more sketchy area.
Yeah, but it was happening at all the Denny's, and what they would do is people would
around.
come into and they walk right into the bathroom. They'd have like throwaway coats or
Like
something.
trench coats or something.
Yeah.
And did you know like, oh, that guy's a streaker?
No,
coming in?
because they would just kind of mingle into the bathroom.
I feel like anyone in a trench coat is like automatically suspicious.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like, okay, why are his ankles bare?
Yeah, and
you
who just does that for fun? How is that a fad?
I don't know.
I don't know.
let's
Well,
do-
that can be
it
kind of
started in the
exhilarating.
college campus because I think people used to go watch. I mean, girls and guys both would just streak down like Greek Row at UW.
Yeah.
That's what they did before phones, probably.
They needed something
Yeah,
fun,
yeah.
and they
Before
didn't
Xbox.
have Internet. It's
Yeah,
like,
well, they
we can't watch Netflix. Let's just go run naked down the street.
Yeah, it was a big deal. I mean, it was happening everywhere. Well, the Denny's, that Lakewood, and then my friend was at Parkland, which is in Tacoma as well.
Okay.
At mine, they came like maybe carloads, maybe 12 people.
12 of them?
Not all in the restaurant.
bunch of
Like
naked
maybe
people.
3 or 4 in the restaurant. Some of them would go kind of get sat in the back and then get up and run out, through the restaurant.
Didn't you say they would run on the tables?
Well, not mine. At Parkland, my friend at Parkland, they got up on the counter and ran across the counter. And the one guy at Parkland, they caught the guy because he jumped. There's a cash register at the end of the counter.
Mm-hmm.
He jumped over the cash register on his way out. Well, it's a glass candy counter on the other side of the thing. So he busted through the glass.
Oh.
And there was a big chunk of skin in the case, and so he had to go to the hospital, and the police actually, found him at the hospital because.
Ooh. All naked, and he shattered through the glass.
God, that's like the worst.
Yeah, I mean, he ran out of there. He didn't wait for an ambulance or anything, but he got out.
And then went to the hospital on
Probably
his
just
own.
followed
Yeah.
a trail of blood to the hospital.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Jeez.
At mine, it was kind of weird because.
Did you say they'd go up against the windows?
Yeah,
and,
like
squeeze their
women. Yeah, like guys and girls both were outside, and you were sitting at your table at a window, and they would come up and smash. The women would just kind of like smash themselves against the window. Their face,
and their
their face, their boo, everything was just smashed against the window.
Oh,
you
It's
did it.
weird.
yikes.
And sometimes this wasn't necessarily late. I mean, it was like 11 o'clock at night or something, maybe.
What the heck?
So there was could be.
Would you ever do anything? Because that's technically illegal, right? It's
Yeah.
gotta be
Yeah,
illegal.
but you
Definitely
couldn't.
illegal.
What are you gonna do? You couldn't catch them.
Yeah.
No one wants to tackle a naked guy.
Yeah, it was.
True.
Wow, you had an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Didn't you also, speaking of like running through the glass or falling through the glass, well, your best friend, you told me growing up,
Yeah.
ran through a sliding glass door, and
Yeah.
didn't you say his face was like falling off?
Oh, he had 1,100 stitches in his face,
Whole
inside and out.
Inside.
Yeah, well, they had to stitch up stuff inside and then over the
Oh
top.
my God.
So
But
he-
didn't you? Yeah. So what happened?
Well, back then we didn't have any grown-ups there, so no one could. There was nobody there of age to drive.
Was this like during the summer?
Summertime, yeah.
Okay.
So we were having a water fight. Outside, inside, whatever.
Like you guys were just
water
running all
balloons,
around.
buckets,
Water fight inside?
whatever. Well, maybe not a lot inside,
It was
but
probably just like running back and
All right,
forth with a bunch of kids.
Through the door.
yeah, there was probably. Well, you got to remember, I had there's 5 boys in my family, so they're right there. You could have a water fight.
Yeah.
But the guy my friend that was part of this water fight, at some point it got kind of out of control. So we all said kind of truce, like this is getting,
Yeah, it's
something's
too crazy.
something's gonna happen, like
It's a violent water fight.
like water in the house, like
Yeah,
major water
right.
in the house or something. But so we called a truce, and Pete Peterson was his name. I think it was Dave.
It's a fun name.
Such a good name for this story. Like that's
Yeah, no,
exactly what I
he was a jinx because before I met him, he caught his leg on fire. He had like 1,000 stitches in his leg.
God.
He had stitches. They had to graft skin on his leg. He got shot in the kneecap with his own gun.
It's like Plaxico Burress. Shot himself in
Yeah.
the
Oh,
leg.
jeez.
He got clotheslined by. We had dirt bikes, so his dirt bike. A dog chased him into this a guide wire that held up a telephone pole.
So this guy's really accident prone.
He
It's like
was
Evil
very-
Knievel. Jeez.
But after we called a truce to this water fight, we were sitting in what's our rec room for us.
Okay.
Maybe there was because there was 5 boys, so there's probably like 3 or 4 beds in this room that we were sleeping in. It was kind of an unfinished room.
Mm-hmm.
Had a back door. Well, my brother came in with the bucket that didn't have no water, but you didn't know he didn't have any water.
Oh, he's just like joking, like, oh,
Yes.
I'm gonna dump this on you.
Yeah, and there was a sliding glass door because this rec room was being built. It wasn't totally done, so there was still the sliding glass door, which is now gone. But
And this was before the glass
was safety glass.
was like safety glass. So now if
Oh.
it shatters, it doesn't necessarily go into a billion pieces. Or
no, it does
go
go
into
into
a billion
pieces.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
And that's on purpose, so it doesn't cut you as
Yeah,
bad.
in fact, it might have been because of this accident that caused the change. I
Just
guess.
changed, like, oh wow, this guy's
Wow.
face almost fell off.
Revolution.
I don't think that was, but it was a good reason to change. But so anyway, my brother came in running the back door with his bucket. This Pete Peterson, without thinking, just got up and he thought the glass door was open.
And so he just
Wow.
ran
Right through it. And now I was probably, how old are you in 8th grade or 7th grade?
15?
13?
13?
14,
14,
something
13,
like
14.
that. That's probably how
Yeah.
old I was. He was a year older than me.
So it was like 14 or 15.
But when he got up off the ground, he was holding his face together and blood was coming out between his fingers.
Oh!
And he wasn't crying. I was freaking out. I probably was crying. I didn't know what to do. There was
Screaming.
nobody there.
He could have died.
Oh, yeah,
Easily.
easily.
Blood loss.
Yeah.
Well, or cut your jugular vein. He didn't cut
Oh,
the
yeah.
jugular.
That's crazy.
But he,
The juggler.
so I ran to the, there was a neighbor. Isn't there a jugular vein?
Jugular.
it's called the.
What's
it's
it
called your jugular.
Jugular. That's what I thought I said.
Jugular.
Anyway, so when I ran to the neighbor's house and he kind of followed, because he got up, he said, "Just get me to the hospital."
Like he
just
was
as
calm and
plain-
composed?
Calm, holding his face
crazy.
together with both his hands.
Wow.
And from there, I can't remember if the lady,
Blacked
the neighbor,
out.
no, I don't know if the neighbor lady drove him or if an ambulance. I don't think an ambulance came. I think she
Oh my
drove him to the
gosh.
hospital. And
Probably
he got-
ruined her car. Got blood all over.
well,
I'd be pissed.
they were actually pretty good neighbors. They,
Wow.
but yeah,
And then
and
he
we
was
didn't
fine.
get sued. Well, we didn't have any money at the time, and if the people wanted to sue us, we didn't have any money. But people didn't sue back then.
But
so-
were you still friends with him after? Like,
Yeah.
You still hung out with him?
What did his
Yeah, and
face look
he's-
like after?
Yeah,
Well,
it
he
was-
actually, the doctor said he was pretty lucky because a lot of the cuts were kind of in his smile, natural smile lines. So
like
he,
the creases from your smile.
yeah, and you could see the scars, but
Yeah.
you know, you look like you got in a car wreck.
And
but-
to this day, my dad, like, you haven't talked to him in years, right?
No.
But you mentioned, like, a couple of months ago, my dad was like, I'd love to, like, reconnect with him. And
Yeah,
so
we
we
tried
did
that.
like research for like days trying to like find
I
this
think
guy's
he's-
phone number.
I think he's still in the area. We lived by a cemetery, Floral Hills. It was called Floral Hills at the time, cemetery, and we used to take his go kart over there and ride in the cemetery, not on the grass, on the roads. And
Get clotheslined and
one
And got
time I
pooped
remember,
on? Didn't you get pooped on?
yeah, that's what I was going to say. One time it was, he was real nice about it. Everybody got their chance to, ride on it. And so when it was my turn, I was getting ready to get in there, and this Phil Cloud jumped in and started taking off, and I chased down, screaming.
Cloud.
Or,
Stupid Phil.
damn Phil Cloud.
yeah, exactly. Well, he's the one that shot him with his own, shot Pete Peters in the knee was Phil Cloud.
Phil Cloud. So Phil Cloud sucks.
Yeah.
He steals go-karts and shoots people in the knee.
So, well, when Phil Cloud, I caught up with him like 10, 20 feet away from where he got in, and he jumped out. So no sooner he jumped out than I jump in. All right, I get my turn. 5 seconds after I got in it, started to go, I got burned. Right. Like a seagull, and
should've
not a
been
little
Phil.
one, not
It
a
should've
little.
been Phil Cloud.
Yeah, not a
Phil
little
should've got
one.
the shit.
Like
but-
a big old poop.
Just right on the face.
Yeah, right on the face.
Kyle, you can relate to that. You
Yeah,
got pooped on.
not on the face, but down the side of my shoulder and down, went down my hand. I
Did
thought
you get pooped on twice
in the same week. Yeah, I got pooped on twice the same week. I thought Luke threw warm water on me when I got pooped on.
You had a
the first
target on your,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
you had a baseball cap on.
I
Had a
get
target that
like
burned.
I got hit a lot by so many things growing up. Like in baseball, I was always the smallest kid on my team, and I would always get hit by pitches the most. Like, I got hit in the stomach once. I had to go to like the emergency room because I got hit in the stomach, like right in the center of the chest. I also got like I was trying to tag somebody, and then he tried to hurdle me, and then he kneed my face, and I had like cuts all over my face.
Oh gosh.
And in basketball, someone tried to throw like a one-handed pass, and like somehow scratched my eye, and so I had these like weird scratches on my eye, and everyone was like, "Oh, what happened to your face?"
We were talking. Dad, Kyle and I were talking about the other day.
You were, Kyle, wait, first off, Kyle, you were little, so everybody could pick on you. That's why.
Yeah.
I know.
No one had to worry about
It's
it.
not fair.
All right,
Now I'm
let's-
average sized. Everyone. Wow.
Whoa. Nice
I'm
voice
still
crack.
going through puberty though.
But Dad, Kyle and I were talking about the other day how Do you remember? So my dad would always coach us in youth basketball, and we were just taking a trip down memory lane, thinking about how we used to people would always get hurt and start crying with the most minuscule injuries when we were little.
That still happens.
What?
Yeah, John's foot. Oh, my foot hurts so
My
bad.
foot was like, I think I actually broke it.
Well,
or
when you're doing
something.
that 4 miles in 4 hours, you guys like
My
thought
foot's
you're gonna
fine.
die.
My foot is totally fine.
Dad, you run 48 miles in 48 hours and then tell me how you feel.
Yeah,
Can Steve really run anymore though?
No.
The hips are just.
Yeah, I've never even seen you run.
Well, let's hear that story about the hips.
Yeah, so my dad, you have 2 fake hips.
yeah.
How many times have you dislocated them?
Well, one of them 3 times.
And how many the other one? Just once?
No, never.
Oh, you got it fake. You put in the fake one before it ever dislocated.
No, the dislocated one. I mean, the fake ones are the ones that dislocated. My
Oh, you
real
never
hips.
had a real
no,
hip.
my
So
you
real
got it-
ones didn't.
So you got a real hip still?
No, they're
No,
both fake.
both mine are artificial hip.
Wait, why'd you have to get the second? Are they connected? Is that
Are
a dumb
your
question?
No,
hips
they're two different.
connected?
I know. I got when I was 44, I had my left hip done, which was the worst of the 4, and then 5 years later, I had my right one. And the
But if
right
it-
one, the
Because
newest one.
it hurt and you could just knew you needed to. Get
Oh
it.
yeah, you couldn't. I couldn't do anything.
I remember you saying that you think the reason they went bad is because like something in basketball or something.
Well,
what was that?
Are you short,
No,
shorts
I've
too
talked to a
tight?
few people that have had bad hips, and it seems like they can point to some catastrophic injury or something that maybe makes them wear out earlier. And
Yeah.
I never really had anything like that. I talked to someone in the hospital that thought maybe like someone had a car wreck where they got jammed into the dashboard, and maybe that wore their knees
God.
out earlier.
Yeah.
But only one time in basketball, yeah, I think I slipped really weird, and that's the only thing that ever happened.
But didn't you
with
say
it.
you had almost like you did the splits kind of and someone
Yeah.
like pushed you down almost?
No,
Or
I was
like-
just I had brand new shoes, and I was backpedaling, and they just slipped out, and the way I
Zion
fell, I
Williamson.
took myself out of the game thinking, shit, I hurt something, but I was fine. It was towards the end of a game.
Yeah.
And I
Years later, it came back to haunt you.
Yeah.
What type of shoes did you have?
Yeah, what did people wear
Converse?
back then?
Well, Converse.
Flyers?
No, but I was probably 30 years old when
Moccasins?
that happened. But so high school was Converse was the
Oh, okay.
and
it's
then
weird
Adidas.
to me that was the main basketball shoe, Converse.
Yeah, I would
because,
hate
like,
to play in those.
Converse are not basketball shoes nowadays.
It
Like
was
you
a
could
Converse
not,
All-Star. Yeah, those leather. I mean, they had the canvas kind of
like my Converse that I wear,
Yeah.
those black ones. Were they the same type?
high tops, white.
But I mean, were they like
Yeah.
built the same
Yeah.
way?
What the heck?
Because those are so like bad to
It's like playing in
exercise in.
Vans almost.
No, we
Yeah.
used to wear 2 pairs of socks and just lace them up there.
Just tough it out.
Yeah.
Now Adidas came out about the same time, so that was the
Oh.
kind of the next generation of shoe was the Adidas.
Nike didn't even exist.
No, Nike didn't even
That's
exist.
wild.
There was a point in time that Nike. didn't exist.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's
weird.
crazy.
I don't even know when Nike started to exist. You'd have to look up. But
Yeah. Could you explain how you basically were a child slave without knowing it? My dad thought, okay, basically when he was a kid, he would work at this restaurant, and like he told me and Kyle all these stories about when he was working, and then Kyle was like, "Oh, how much did you get paid?" And he's like, "Oh, I never got paid."
Yeah.
We're like,
Is that
So
what you did
no,
for fun?
yeah, it was kind
so
of
how
fun.
old were you? So
I was 5th grade, so whatever that is. Fifth
That's
and
like illegal to work at
yeah,
that age.
no one like in this generation, no one starts working until they're at least in middle school.
I
Well,
think you
I
have to
know,
be
I-
16 probably at some places.
Yeah.
Well, first off, it was my uncle's, my dad's brother's restaurant, and I actually was. At some point, I went to live with him because I was living at my mom and my dad were divorced. My mom kind of had a boyfriend, and I kind of didn't want to be around the house. So I was working at the restaurant on weekends. So eventually, I went and lived with them for.
So
like,
you made the conscious
yeah.
decision to move out when you were in 5th grade?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. That's impressive.
Well, I was working.
He's a working man. He's a working 5th grade. He doesn't have a salary, but he's working.
Get a job and you can, how like in movies, parents are like, you know what? If you want to be an adult, like get a job and live on your own, and then you can do whatever you want. But
Steve
it's
did
like,
that.
You did that when you were in 5th grade.
Well, he didn't get paid though, but he did
Yeah,
work
no,
though.
I did that in 5th grade. Yeah, we were.
So
And I know it was through a summer, and then once, I think the money that I didn't need money for anything because my
'cause you're in
aunt and
fifth
uncle bought me whatever I wanted. They actually bought me like a little mini bike, and then eventually I got the dirt bike from that mini bike, and then
so they pay. So instead of paying you in money, they just like paid for your.
Yeah,
they bought
I
you
if I
things.
needed money, I had money. I don't
Yeah.
know. They didn't give me a paycheck, so
Yeah.
they probably gave me $20. But you're fifth grade. What do you 20? What do you need $20 for? Now I remember,
Especially back then, it's probably a lot more too.
Yeah.
I remember that. So my mom, single parent with 6 kids. Now when I moved out, there was only 5 because there's 5 boys and 1 sister.
Mhm.
And I remember because I was the only one working, I think maybe my oldest brother was working, but I remember taking some money and buying my brothers and sisters a Christmas present, which was kind of cool because
Yeah.
we really didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, I might have bought them like a candy bar or something. But
Yeah.
to them or to me, it was a big
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, that's
You're
cool.
5th grade.
Yeah. So and when you think of child labor, that Mother's Day, the only time I can think of that was kind of traumatic, I guess, is Mother's Day. Though it was a small restaurant, and my uncle was the cook, and then his wife was one of the waitresses, and we had like 2 or 3 other waitresses, and then another, at the time, there was another kind of a chef helper,
Okay.
which I eventually did.
Yeah.
Like when I was in 6th grade, I became the chef helper.
Did you
Way
get paid
up.
then?
No,
Oh,
I never ever got
he's
paid.
moving up, but he's not getting paid.
Now I got to go to England. They paid my way. She was
Oh.
my uncle's
wow.
wife was from England, so they paid my. I went to England for a summer or 6
Okay.
weeks.
Oh yeah. Oh, we found your passport when we were looking through.
Yeah,
pictures.
yeah.
yeah.
It's so weird to think that your parents were once younger than you are now.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird because I was looking at you when you were like 14 or something. Or how old were you? 11, 10 when you
Well,
were?
it probably was summer between 5th and 6th grade
Okay.
when I went. So I
You were
was
like
around that.
10.
I feel like we'd be boys with Steve when he was younger.
Yeah, I feel like we would be friends.
Yeah.
But okay, wait.
So that Mother's
Valentine's
Day. So
Or
Mother's Day. So now for me to back in that restaurant, I don't know if all restaurants, but you wash the dishes by hand, and you had 3 sink compartments. So one you would wash, rinse, and then sanitize. So you'd wash, rinse, sanitize,
Okay.
and then you would put them up to drain.
Yeah.
And I'd have to walk across milk carton boxes
'Cause you weren't tall
I
enough?
wasn't tall enough, and I had an apron, and I think I wore like cutoffs or something. I don't
Yeah.
know, but and I stood right. The waitresses would come from the restaurant through a swinging door, like restaurants have, and they would set their dirty dishes, and then I would have to kind of sort them because you'd wash the glasses first, and then silverware. You do it in a certain progression, and then like
You had a system
saucers you would
down.
wash because the water, you didn't change the water until after you did this whole sequence.
Okay.
So we were so busy that the dishes were piling up, and
Your little 5th
I
grade Steve couldn't keep up.
And many times I remember people would tip me because they would see me when the door was open. The people in the restaurant could see me back there
Is that a
working.
slave?
They felt
Is
bad.
that
So-
kid like 5 years old?
yeah. So, but this one Mother's Day, we were so busy, and I was trying to do my best, but at some point, all the dishes kind of that I was trying to stack and keep organized crashed down, and maybe some broke, and I don't know. But I think I started crying, and somehow I got in the back. Someone took me to kind of regroup, I guess, in the back room, and I don't know how long I was back there. But when I came out, my uncle, who was cooking at the time, also did the cooking for the restaurant, which was very busy, and he did all the dishes, or
Wow.
someone did the dishes.
He's a
I don't know who.
superstar.
And well, I learned. I think at that point, I realized, you'll never know what you can do until you.
Yeah.
Till
You
you
had a
try
life
it.
lesson right there.
I had a life lesson.
Just teaching everybody
Yeah.
listening. You never know what you can do until you try. Or wait,
Yeah.
is that what you're getting at? Or
Yeah,
you
I
can do
think that's-
more than you think you can. Is that what you're going for?
That's priceless.
Both. I think that's both.
Literally,
Isn't
it's
that
priceless.
the same thing?
You didn't get paid.
Priceless.
That's why I never got paid, Kyle. 'Cause I got life
priceless.
lessons.
There you
Yeah. They paid you in life lessons and bikes.
Yeah.
go. Wow.
All right. I'll just give you a shout out, or I'll hype you up a little more. Didn't you say that you scored like 60 something points in a men's league game against a
Yeah.
really bad team?
Yeah, but that's nothing to brag about because they were really bad. Men's league, I actually got better as I got older. I think my best.
It's like a fine wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the best years are still
Or
ahead
like,
of
well, like I peaked when I was 35 or 30.
We peaked
You
in
guys-
middle school.
yeah, we peaked in middle school.
I-
It's been downhill.
Yeah.
yeah, I think 30 was probably my best. Because I played college basketball, but I was only like 175 pounds in college, so I wasn't.
You put on some
Wait,
muscle.
when you were 30?
No,
Not in
not in college.
Okay, that's where I got
He played
confused.
college, and then when he was 30,
and then he's
you
30.
weighed more. Or you were
Yeah, and I
stronger.
played good in college, but I was only 175 pounds, and
Yeah.
Didn't make it to the league.
Okay.
I only played 1 year college. But then I had a really good year. But I got a chance with Denny's to go into management, so I took that. So I was like 19 in management.
Yeah.
It's like the American
But I'm surprised you
dream.
didn't ask me about the one with the snowball.
What? When someone broke in
Yeah.
your house? No, that was the. That was. I had
He
that.
just mentioned the story. This is. I think I've heard this before, but oh my god.
I don't really know the story. All I remember, my dad has told me this like once, but there was a story when you threw a snowball at a car and then they came in and broke into your house.
Well, now I was ninth grade. I remember that because I was living with my dad. Now back to my mom and dad. So at some point I decided to live with my dad
Okay.
because my mom now remarried her boyfriend. So now it was her husband, and I got along with him. But he had a son. The house was pretty crowded for everybody. So I decided to live with my dad. He rented a house at the base of a big hill by Nathan Hale High School.
Okay,
Where's Nathan Hale? Is that
Yeah,
Lake
well.
City, by Lake City.
Okay.
that's by my house, sort of.
It's 35th. The house is probably still there. It's at the base of the hill. So we didn't get a lot of snow, but 1 year when we were living there was a snowstorm, and my brother Bruce was living with my dad also at the time, and he was a senior.
Okay.
Big Bruce.
You're a freshman. Bruce is a senior.
Big senior Bruce.
I was freshman, ninth grade. I wasn't in the because high school was only a 3 year
Oh,
high
they were
school.
separated.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was ninth grade. He was a senior. He was probably 6'3", 210.
Okay.
Big Bruce.
Big Bruce.
Bruce.
He was
Big boy Bruce.
Okay.
All
I
right.
was 160. I was probably like your size. Well,
Kyle's not 6'1".
So average sized, slightly taller, slightly
Alright.
above average.
So, and then there was two buddies there that my dad used to coach us in like basketball, Parks and Recs basketball. So these two guys used to hang out at our house because my dad was a bachelor, and I don't know why they.
It was just like your house was the place to be.
Yeah,
Okay.
and my dad was hardly ever around. So in fact, those guys, my dad worked construction. Those guys were kind of at one point they threw bullets in our fireplace, and they were going off.
Wait, your dad threw bullets in your
No,
fire?
these two guys.
Oh. Wait, who's
They were troubled. Gary Desard and
Bullets
Klein,
in your
I think.
fireplace and they like
Well, they
launched
weren't.
off?
They
was
were.
Phil Cloud involved?
No, Phil Cloud wasn't involved. but-
He was out of the picture at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was two other guys. So those two guys were there, Bruce and me, and we decided to go throw snowballs. But we went right out to the street. We stood right on the side of the street, and cars that were going up the hill couldn't stop because they would slide back down. They had to get a run at the hill.
Yeah.
So,
So
we
you knew that they couldn't do anything
we knew that we had time to
run away.
run away if
Right.
if they tried to stop. And then cars going down the hill couldn't stop because they would slide, and we could. And our plan was that we had all the lights off in the house, and it had a gated backyard. And our plan was that we would run through the gate and into the house and shut the door, and then no one knows, and we'd just be quiet inside the house, thinking if someone, by the time they stopped the car and got up, they wouldn't know if we were in the house, if we
Okay.
ran down the street. So
Got it all thought out.
yeah, so
You thought you did.
So this van, they called these conversion vans. It had like a real fancy paint job and kind of whatever. So we nailed this van going up the hill, and we watched him up at the top of the hill. We watched him pull into a driveway and back out, and then
Come back
we
down.
thought, okay, now this guy's that's really, really going to get him now. But this time we backed up because we thought we would better have a head start because he anticipating us throwing a snowball. So
Wait, so instead of running into the house to hide, like your plans,
no, we were
like,
going to hit him again.
You were going to hit him again.
So you didn't follow the plan.
Wow.
No, we didn't follow the plan.
Oh, there,
but
that's
so
the problem.
we got closer to the gate,
Okay.
and I was only ninth grade. Bruce was a senior. These other guys were juniors in high school, and they were big athletic guys.
Yeah.
There's four of us, quite honestly. So anyway, so this van, now we're back. So, and I'm actually thinking maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
Okay.
Maybe
But
you're
you're just
I-
going.
I'm
You're getting
kinda
dragged
thinking.
into it.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I might have threw one and then booked. I mean, I probably didn't even look. I just Okay,
Yeah.
I'm out of here. So we had a couple of steps up to get to the door. So I remember going through the gate. I was the first one through the door. I remember the other guy, another guy coming in, and then someone slipped somewhere along the line, and we're helping him up. And I look up and I see the guy coming around his van, and he knows where we're going. So our plan is kind of toast because he
So
knows.
he was out of his van at this point, like walking?
Running. Running. He's running. He's
man.
turning around the van. He's running around the van.
Is this a large man?
Well, no, it turned out he wasn't, but we didn't know that because we had
Small
all the
van,
lights off.
Okay,
So-
so you ran in your house, and he's
I'm the
running
first
after
one
you.
in, and I got the door. I'm getting guys in, and I see him coming. So I don't know how far away he is. I don't know how fast he could get because we're pretty far away from the street. But
Yeah.
I did see him coming, so he knows where we're at. So, but I shut the door and had a push. I remember shutting the door and going like this to push the button.
Yeah.
Pow!
He breaks
The
down
door off. I'm underneath the door. He runs over the top of me.
Wait, under the door. Oh, he kicked the whole
The
door
door,
down?
the whole door off the hinges.
like
and
off
everything.
the hinges.
So this guy's
Yeah.
got a powerful foot.
I don't know. I think he did like a
Like a
probably a
shoulder
shoulder
check?
deal.
Oh, okay. He's
But,
got some power either way.
And he split the hinges, split the jam because my dad had to repair it
Yeah.
later. But and the guys had scattered through the house because all the lights were off. And I think Bruce, my oldest brother, was in a closet. The guy didn't come after me. I don't think he knew I was underneath the door.
walked over
Stepped
you.
over
Yeah.
you.
But I made it to the bathroom, and I remember sitting with my foot up against the door, and we had a window over the tub that actually opened. And it wasn't a very big window, but I was thinking, how fast could I get out the window in case the guy's
Oh.
going to come after me? Like a little exit plan, exit strategy. Because I hear all these people and those other guys are all getting beat up by this guy.
Oh, you found him and started like punching him?
Oh, he smashed him with lamps. Lamps are crashing down. And,
Wait,
and
the
they
guy's
said-
beating up your brothers?
no, my brother never got. My brother probably
Beating
could
up
have
your
beat
friends
the,
that were with you.
Yeah, the
all
two
the,
guys.
all the friends got beat up.
I mean, yeah, and I don't think
Wait,
they
did he
got
have a
beat.
gun?
No, no one had a gun. No, but they were trying to get
grabbing
on.
a lamp,
They were trying to get.
smashing
They said they were trying to get underneath the bed, and the guy was pulling them out and kicking them and beating them and smashing them with like a night light because it was in the bedroom, so there's probably a
Looking for
lamp on the
everything to
thing.
slam on their heads. Lamp!
And then he left. And the reason I know my brother worked at a 76 Union gas station at the top of that hill. And one day that van came in and the guy was there, and Bruce didn't say, but Bruce said he was just a little guy. So we probably could have,
Probably could have
Bruce
fought
could have
him
messed with
off.
him.
I don't think I could have, but,
Yeah.
or those two other guys for sure, because they were kind of rowdy inner city kids.
Wow.
Bruce and I were kind of country kids, kind of more mellow, I guess.
Yeehaw.
Wow. All of those stories are way more crazy than any of our childhood stories.
Yeah, I threw a snowball at a car once, and then the car just stopped, and then we ran away, and that was it.
Yeah.
It's like,
I feel like we don't have like any cool stories.
nothing cool happens nowadays.
Yeah.
No, and I wouldn't advise doing that. I don't know why. Did you see in the snowstorm there was a car that got pelted with the snowballs here, and then the girl in the car tried to run the guy over with the car.
Oh my
yeah, I
God,
saw
what?
that on
Did
the
you see the
news.
news?
What the heck? Did you
Yeah,
get
it's
him?
pretty
People
bad
are
if you
crazy.
go to prison because you got hit with a snowplow and you killed somebody. That'd be
Yeah.
kind of stupid.
That's just so not worth it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you hit me. Now I'm going to kill you.
Everything's just different now, Like you can't do a lot of stuff that you could do back when you were a kid.
What do you think about our generation? Is it sad to see what we have become?
Let's see. I don't know
That's
how
a
to answer
yes.
that. I'm trying to think about it. I've never been posed that question, but it's different. It definitely is different.
Good question.
What do you think
Kyle.
about like all the phones and social media and everything? You think it's stupid? Think it's like
No, I can see a
Ruining
need for it, but
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Steve got his first iPhone like a year ago or something. Before he had a flip phone.
It wasn't new. It was a
Well, he has an
hand-me-down.
iPhone 4.
Oh, that's like a dinosaur.
Works just fine for what I need.
he gets the
I
job.
had a flip phone. It worked just fine. I was
Yeah.
happy with my flip phone, but
Yeah, we peer pressured him into getting
Yeah.
it.
and I can't wait till the day I can get like the latest, greatest, which I'll
Oh,
get
now
eventually.
he wants it. Now you're on the
Well,
iPhone
but I'm a
train.
contractor, so I don't want to spend a lot of money and,
then break
ruin
it.
a good phone. So.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That flip phone I had, I dropped it 20 feet down one time on cement. Went down, picked up, worked fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, that's classic flip phones.
Oh,
It was like military grade.
Yeah.
God.
didn't you fall off? You were working on a skyscraper and you fell off and like those. shards of metal that stick up?
Yeah,
or
I
was
didn't-
that your friend?
You
No, that
fell
was
off
me.
a skyscraper?
No.
Or no, so
Not
no,
a skyscraper.
no, but it was like the base of a building, right?
Yeah, it was over Lake
And
Hospital.
you know how when you see buildings in construction, they have like those, what are they called?
Rebar.
Rebar. Those metal things that stick up. They're side by side. There's like hundreds of them.
Like inside, like the
It's
yeah.
in concrete. It's rebar
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
put in concrete.
And then they pour concrete
They pour
into it.
concrete. Yeah,
Okay.
it interlocks different pours of concrete.
Yeah.
But yeah, I fell down.
You fell, and
I got skewered by but I didn't get.
no, but it could have pierced.
Oh,
through
I
your
could have
body.
died right there. That's the closest I've ever came to probably dying, I would say.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wait. So what happened? Did it go? Where did it pierce through?
Just through my pant legs, both pant legs.
It went through your. that close to your foot.
Yeah,
and
when-
just went through your pants.
and out my pants and back in my pants. And
Wait, were you
Holy-
falling like that,
you
or like
you
feet
felt
first?
like
no,
straight down?
I actually fell. When I fell, I actually was kind of face down a little bit, but I saw that rebar coming, so I straightened up. So I think at the right time, I mean, I was lucky enough to land in between that rebar.
Maybe
But
this
it's
is
not. It's literally just the size of your shoe, probably. The bars. So, and I don't know if I mean, there's been stories. I don't know if they're true, but people, if you can get skewered with rebar, but they cut the rebar off and take you to the hospital with it on
in you?
Yeah, because if they pull you off, you'll bleed to
bleed.
death. But
Oh my god.
so they,
Oh my god.
and I was behind I actually was behind a panel at the time, so. Everybody came running because my brother knew that I had fallen.
How
and
big
I
of a
think
fall? Like.
Probably 12 feet.
Oh my
down.
god.
Oh wow, that's like over.
And the
story.
rebar probably was 3 feet out of the ground. So, but I got out, and when I got out, I could tell as they were coming over to me because I was hidden behind this panel that was
Yeah.
leaning up against the ground because this was all below ground. I was standing up on ground.
Yeah.
Trying to think. When everybody came over, I ran out. I said, I'm okay, and then I kind of passed out. I think
Out
in
of
the shock.
because you realized like, holy crap, I
Yeah.
almost just died.
And it was at Overlake Hospital, so they just
That's
took me
convenient.
in and.
Dang, you could have died right
I
then
kept
and
working.
there.
I went back, kept working. Till
Maybe that's what's different between our generations. You just go right back to work.
Yeah.
I would be like making sure that I'm okay and
Yeah,
like
like
staying in the
I'm gonna
hospital.
Take the week off.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to recover.
Recover from my emotional fear
Yeah.
of falling.
Yeah, I'm glad it was a near miss and then you use that to you learn from that, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
that's what messed up your hip. That fall could have been it,
It could have been, yeah.
Chance.
or just a whole bunch of things like that, getting
Yeah.
stepped on from a door.
Well,
and like,
I used to play basketball, and I didn't, now there's a lot of people stretch and warm up. We used to just go in the gym
It
and
just wasn't even a thing.
take a few warm up shots, and then you'd be going full speed.
I'm sure it's not like terrible, but like I'm sure there were injuries that happened because of that that could have been prevented.
probably a lot of concussions back in the day too.
Yeah,
in
I don't
football-
ever remember that.
Well, I mean,
no
probably
one.
you
We
didn't-
never.
maybe you got too many concussions.
No one
I
had
don't remember.
concussion.
There were concussions, but they probably didn't label them as a concussion. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh, you just took a hard hit,
Yeah.
Well, they say like every
Yeah.
time you get your bell
rub
rung,
rub it.
Yeah, that's their
Rub some grit
motto.
on
And
it.
that was the most annoying thing when I was in youth basketball. When you were our coach, and I would actually be hurt. You'd be like, "Oh, you're fine. Just rub it." I'm like, "No, I'm not fine. I'm
my
hurt."
theory is that if you hurt something, then what makes you forget about it is you just go and hurt something else worse, and then
yeah.
you
So if
forget
you
about
like
it.
you break your leg, just slap yourself in the face. And you're
Yeah,
fine.
exactly.
So John, your foot, you're fine. Just slap yourself.
Just put-
Well, that Pete Peterson, the way that happened was Pete Peterson is the only one that had the gun. The only one that had, because he was like not an only child, but for some reason he had. It was
the
a
toys.
He had the toys, and we were at Phil Cloud's house. There was probably half dozen kids there. We were pretty, big neighborhood of kids growing up, and this pellet gun was a pump pellet gun where you'd pump it. It's a single shot, so you would put one pellet in.
It's like a pump shotgun. Like,
No, you'd pump up air somehow, and then you'd shoot one pellet, and you'd have to put a pellet in, pump it up. So we were shooting Phil Cloud's mailbox. Don't ask me why we were shooting his mailbox, and everybody, now from Phil Cloud's front porch to the mailbox, everybody could hit the mailbox. There's no way you could miss the mailbox.
okay.
So when it was Phil Cloud's turn to shoot, Pete Peterson didn't put a pellet in there, but he pumped it up, and there was no pellet in there. So he aimed and he shot, but he didn't hit the mailbox because there was no pellet. So we all gave him a bunch of crap. You can't hit the mailbox.
Phil's blind.
Phil, you're so stupid. You can't. And he was a year older than us. Actually, he was 2 years older than me and 1 year older than Pete Peterson, whose gun it was. So anyways, Phil Cloud said, it's my turn again. Give it to me, whatever. So this time Pete Peterson put a pellet in there, but Phil Cloud thought we did put a pellet in there. So he started aiming the gun at everybody, and we're all running. I mean, he's aiming it at your head or your face.
Oh my!
So we're all
Phil had anger problems.
We're all running, and he shoots Pete Peterson. It was his gun. Shot him in the kneecap. Right in the kneecap. He got embedded.
Like stuck in there, right?
Yeah, he had to have it surgically removed.
My uncle has a BB pellet stuck in his hand.
And it's still there?
Yeah, my other uncle, he was like, shoot right there at the target. He shot him in the hand. And it's still in his hand.
What was the other story you wanted to tell?
Well, Pete Peterson, me, and this guy named Gene Munn, who we all grew up by the...
These names.
There's nobody named Gene anymore.
Well, that Gene Munn was... he was the same age as me, but like at 6th grade, he was shaven or something. I mean, he looked like a man. He was like maybe the missing link or something. I don't know.
What does that even mean?
Is that an insult?
Oh, kind of.
Like, he had some
hair on his legs and stuff like that in like 7th grade, where we weren't even. I didn't shave till I was like 11th grade or something.
It's like Kyle.
Yeah,
You taught me how to shave in 7th grade. At the end of 7th grade.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You're like Gene Munn. You're modern day Gene Munn.
Well, one night we decided to have like a fake fight, and there was a place. I'll show you the road someday. But there was a road that it wasn't a stop sign, but it was like a right angle turn, and cars that were coming with their headlights. It was woods straight on with their headlights. So we decided to have this fake fight right where these headlights would hit you.
Okay, wait. So your plan was to have a fake fight in the street.
So people were like, they're fighting.
And so people in their car, their headlights would see like,
Yeah,
like,
and there was 2 guys against one. Two guys were beating me, and there might have been three guys. There might have been 4 of us. Actually,
okay, so like 3 people fake beating you up just for comedy. So people would be like, oh, look, there's a fight.
No, not for comedy, for... I don't know, get a reaction, I guess.
That's comedy. That's comedy.
Okay.
So now I'm part of this fake fight, right? Because I'm the guy. I don't know why I was the one that got picked, decided. So they're like 2 guys are holding me and 1 guy smashing me, supposedly. And, well, this car that came, this one car, and maybe we did half dozen cars, and we quit after this one because this one car, when they saw it, they drove their car right into the woods. They jumped out, and once they were after us. Not me. They were after the guys who were beating me up. They were my buddies. They were defending me. Yeah.
Wait, were they random people? You actually knew?
Yeah,
who they were?
No, they were random people, and they were like,
did you
probably
try and
teenage. They were probably like maybe high school seniors or 20-year-old guys.
What do you mean? What do you mean drove? You mean they just like pulled off the road real quick and
flew off the road?
No. It was. We used to ride dirt bikes there, so it was kind of a gradual big entrance. So they drove their car into this entrance off the road, headlights right on, and all my guys scattered, my friends, and I'm there having to.
Tell them did you tell them
no,
this is a joke?
No, because then they'd kick the shit out of me. So
you just went along with it?
So I said I was pretending like I was all beat up. I said, that's okay, no, it just make it worse. And I was trying to cry, and I was no, it's okay, I'll be thanks or whatever I said. They chased after them but when you're scared.
You run fast.
It's true. When you're scared, you can run. Like set world records if you had a clock.
I bet there's been people that have broken certain world records out of adrenaline, but it's not like an officially timed thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You
just gotta be really scared before the 100-meter. Maybe that's what happened with Usain Bolt. He just was really scared. He had a hit on him, or maybe someone threatened his mom or something.
Or Jamaica, the government told him you don't break this record, and we're I'm
pretty sure North Korea does that.
Some athletes can tap into their adrenaline,
mm-hmm.
and I don't know. So maybe there is
a shot of adrenaline, maybe.
No, I think
some people mentally know how to get in that mindset.
Not even mentally. Maybe it's just a natural way to. What's it called? I don't even know what adrenaline. There's some enzyme or something that.
It's some reaction in your brain. I think that releases it.
Yeah, there's stories about people doing amazing things. I think we've talked about
Yeah,
like
you said-
women like lifting cars off of their little kids,
Like,
Damn.
and during, yeah.
and there's no way they could do it without adrenaline.
At one point, you told me the story about you had a friend. I think I mentioned it to Kyle on the podcast.
I think so.
Friend that had a ring on, a wedding ring.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
he threw something and it got caught and ripped the whole finger or the skin
just
of
the
the
skin.
finger?
The skin came off.
Like in a clean
plain rip.
So
the
it's like,
skin
oh.
came off.
Does like fingernail
And
come
then-
off with it too?
I
don't
think so. I don't know, but I know he put the skin bag on and he drove.
Oh, he put the skin just like
And then the
so
ring
it was
back
kinda
on.
wrinkly. It's just like
Yeah,
and then he drove himself to
that's
the
Ted
hospital.
Brown. That's Ted, my friend Ted.
Brown.
He's a roofing contractor, and he was by himself on the way to the dump, and he had a big old kind of a dump. It wasn't a dump truck, but it was a wood sides, and they were really getting tough on tarping your load.
Oh,
And his tarp, he thought he wanted to check his tarp. He was on the freeway in the morning, so rush hour traffic. So he pulled off the freeway to check his tarp. He climbed up and checked his tarp. But where he couldn't jump off the one side because of the traffic. So, and the other side was a kind of maybe a steep bank. So he wanted to jump straight alongside of his truck, straight down. So when he jumped, his hands went up to go straight down, and his ring hooked the wood side rails and ripped it off. So he looked at his hand, and it all worked. His finger,
Oh my god.
and
I
he
can't
jumped up there, grabbed the skin, slid it on,
slid it back on, and it's just
and he
kind of-
drove himself to Stevens Hospital, which is
Oh
up
my
in
God.
kind of Edmonds. And he doesn't even remember how he got to the hospital because he remembers just like
He was
sitting
probably
on
in
his horn.
shock.
Well, yeah, and he was sitting on the horn, going through red lights, driving on side with this big truck, trying to maneuver to get himself to the hospital.
Do you bleed if you're like? Is it
Probably,
bloody?
yeah.
Because like that'd be so weird looking at the muscles of your finger. But like I don't
His-
know if that makes you bleed or not.
His
I would
fingers-
assume you'd be bleeding.
His finger, it did kind of reattach, but it's kind of deformed now. He's still, he's kind of a. Well, next time
got
he's
a
around,
janky finger.
he can tell you the story.
Yeah.
He has a bunch of stories too. That guy.
Let's get Ted Brown. Let's get Ted Brown and Phil Cloud and Pete Peterson on this podcast.
All in one.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
That
I
would
would
be a
like
good
to.
time.
Yeah.
And Gene
Yeah.
Munn.
Do you have any memories of either me and Kyle or my friends from when we were growing up? Like, what do you have any like funny or crazy memory or like anything that stands out of like our friend group?
No, but I remember going skiing with Kyle, and we took him off that beaten path over there in that China Bowl. It was
Oh, I straddled that tree. You were there for that.
little one, a little tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
yeah,
still
we kinda-
straddled
we-
it.
Did
we
we
s-
teach you or you had skied before?
No, he
I
used
know how to
set
ski,
the-
yeah.
Well, no, I'll tell Daryl. Well,
Okay.
this guy Daryl, it's quick. Daryl
Okay.
Dalton. So we were at this Arctic Circle, hanging out in Linwood, which everybody did.
What in the art? It was what like a
Burger
burger
joint.
joint.
Yeah, he was standing with the door open, talking to like maybe I was outside and maybe there's other people outside, and he was holding this door open. And these older guys sitting at the table said, "Hey, shut the door," because of the cold air. And
Uh-oh.
he looked at him and whatever, just didn't pay no.
Oh, he didn't
attention.
even acknowledge them.
I don't know why, but those guys picked a fight with Daryl.
Don't mess with Daryl.
Don't mess with Daryl. So these guys came out and squared up. One guy took Daryl. One guy came with me. So me and
Wait, why'd they go after you?
well, because it was Daryl and I against these two. So
Just
so
get pulled
this-
into this. You're like, oh god.
so me and the other guy started to get like we're gonna have a fight.
Yeah.
And Daryl just kicked the shit out of the other guy. And me and the other guy, we never threw a punch. We're like,
You were
"Come
like getting ready, like
yeah, like, come on, you want to, come on.
You're both just like the other
We're
friends
like-
that are there.
yeah.
That just
You
have
and
to
him
act
both
like you're-
probably didn't
Yeah.
even want to fight.
No, neither one of us wanted. Yeah, we're like, and Daryl's just whack, 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 whack,
You
the
look
other
at each other
guy.
like,
and-
yeah, you don't want to fight, do you? No. Well, I will just stand here.
That Daryl Dalton was like a golden, boxed like a
God.
gold glove.
Yeah, definitely don't mess with Daryl.
Jeez.
You said you guys would attach a fake wallet to a fishing line and then throw it in the road and then hide in the bushes next to the road.
Just reel it in.
Yeah.
And right when people would get out, you'd reel it in and go, ah!
Yeah, we'd stick a purse,
That's how you get beat up.
purse with like maybe car keys, old car keys, and lipstick, and maybe fake money, like play money or something, and we'd stick it right by Grandma's house where I grew up.
Like at an intersection.
At an intersection. It wasn't a red light. It was just, but there was a
Four-way
street
stop.
light. It was like it was just the one direction was constant. So
okay.
the other side, it was just a stop for the side streets. But
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of traffic on the road because that was pretty rural at nighttime. So, but whenever our car came along, they more than likely had their high beams on because there wasn't oncoming traffic. But a number of times people would stop, slam on the brakes, get out, and run back, and just before they grab the purse or whatever, we'd pull it and stand up. We'd go, we'd shout, "Scrounge, scrounge!" And
What does scrounge mean? Like loser?
Yeah, like a loser.
ha.
Yeah, like a loser.
Scrounge. Did you ever get the same person twice?
No,
That's good.
we only did.
There's a purse again on the same corner.
No, I think we only did that one time.
Oh.
In that whole story, one time, but.
Yeah.
But we had a getaway too. If something, we was in those same woods where that fake fight kind of was.
Oh, wow. Famous woods, man.
So your childhood was just messing with people.
Yeah. Your whole childhood, and it was
We
all
threw
within
eggs.
a couple miles.
We
right?
threw eggs. Didn't
Okay.
you guys do that?
I never threw
I
eggs.
didn't throw eggs. I threw snowballs.
I feel like that's a waste of eggs.
I think we stole eggs because Dairygold had eggs too. So
okay.
we stole eggs, and we went to.
And then you throw them at people.
Yeah, there was a vantage point. There was a putt-putt golf course. Do you know what putt-putt golf course is? That's a little miniature golf.
What do you think
Well, that
we
was a
are?
brand name. Well, putt-putt was a brand name.
Oh, yeah, because it's technically just
Oh, really?
mini golf.
Yeah, well, putt-putt
But
was a
putt-putt
brand
was a
name, and it was a
I'm a
big
big mini
deal.
golf
There
guy.
was, they had you could be in putt-putt tournaments, and you could be a pro, and
A pro putt-putt player?
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, they had circuits, and yeah, it was.
Oh, I'd be so
But-
down for that.
But in Lake City, there was a putt-putt golf course, and there was a hill, which you couldn't climb the hill. I mean, you could, but nighttime you wouldn't. But they would have night putt-putt golf course, lighted courses, so summertime. But you could get to that hill from the back roads, and we would get up there and throw eggs at putt-putt golfers from up there.
That'd be the worst. Just trying to have a good time.
On a first
you're,
date,
You're on a
just
first date trying to
just
teach
get
your
nailed in the side of the head with an egg.
Well, and you could see, manager, someone would get in a car and run, and then we'd have to figure out our exit strategy to get out of there. So
Your escape plans never seem to work very well.
no, they always worked well. Yeah, we never
Except for
really
when you
got.
got
Except for that one
stomped on
time when the guy
by a
destroyed
door.
your door.
Well,
Well, yeah.
Wow. Well, this has been a pretty eventful hour.
Yeah.
Learned
I'd say
a lot.
Steve lived up to the hype.
Yeah, Steve
Definitely
he 100% lived up to the hype that we've been hyping him up for the last couple episodes. But
well, you guys will have childhood stories when you guys get older, probably.
I mean,
Nothing cool as cool as.
I mean, I cut my chin open playing cops and robbers, but
slipped and fell. Like that was it.
you didn't what? You ran.
we ran. I ran a marathon. Kyle,
We ran
didn't
from the
wanna run
cops.
with us. We did run from the cops one time at Pine Lake Park.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but it was for playing Pokemon Go. So
Yeah, we were
that
playing-
kind of ruins the whole story.
But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this episode or listening with Steve.
We'll have to do it again.
Yeah,
We definitely
We-
have to. I'm sure there's more stories.
we just barely skimmed the surface of Steve's stories.
if we can find Phil Cloud and put him on this episode.
Yeah, leave a like if you
Well,
want to
I'm
see
going to
Phil
go
Cloud.
now. Now you mentioned, I'm going to go track down a few of those.
let's go
we
find
tried
it.
Pete. We tried Pete Peters, but his real name was probably David. I think it was David Peterson.
Oh,
Probably
so
go-
David Peterson in the
And I don't know how-
David Peterson, if you're out there.
I don't know how. Why would you go by Pete if it's David? I don't know.
Middle
if
name?
you're-
David Pete.
Middle name.
Yeah, but some things like William is Bill.
Yeah, that
and
doesn't
some
make
Yeah,
names-
like Richard is Dick. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, Richard's a dick, I guess.
That's probably what it was. It's
probably how it started.
Wasn't Richard, it was just a huge
like
douche.
everybody, no one liked Richard, so they just started calling him Dick. And he's like, "Why are you guys calling me that?" Well, anyways, like I said, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Comment down below. Tell Steve what your favorite story of his was, or give him some nice compliments, because I'll teach my dad how to use YouTube, and then he can read the comments and he can respond to you guys.
Yeah, so I gave you guys another episode of your podcast.
Yeah.
You're helping grow the
Yeah.
grow the podcast. And
This
I
could
just
be our
wanna
big
shout out
break.
Steve once again, because he built.
Yeah, this
whole
might
thing.
blow up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This might be the one.
And then they're gonna not want us. They're gonna want you.
yeah, they're gonna demand.
And he's
Steve
gonna
on
start his
every
own
episode.
podcast where he just talks about his childhood.
Anyways, Kyle, where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram, Kyle Stafford36, and Twitter at KStaff36. Also follow the podcast at PIMS Podcast on just about everything.
Yep, you can find it. We're available on every single streaming platform. And Dad, You don't have any social media.
You
so
can't
they-
do. Yeah, you
they
can
can't-
look for me on LinkedIn.
If you need to if you need a house to be built,
Yeah, if you
he's
need a
your
house
man.
to be built,
If you need a
hit up
studio,
Steve.
hit him up.
But anyways, you can follow me at Hey Narwhal on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, new episodes every Monday and Thursday. And then there's new videos on my personal channel that have Kyle in most of them. Just we do stupid stuff.
There is probably one coming out eventually that Steve makes a guest appearance in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So-
Eventually there will be one that we've already recorded that he's in it. So anyways, that's it. And we'll see you guys later. Peace out.
Peace.
Yo,
What?
are you saying you're
saying-
saying Tic Tac and then spit it out?
No, I eat it, but it's not good.
That's the best part. Yo,
John.
are you crazy?
Are you kidding me? You're saying the inside's the best part.
Yes, that's where all the most flavor is.